Okay, so there's a lot of people that came out to talk about Trump. And so, the screenshot basically is the one where they have Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, heads on like monkeys or something like that, right? And so depicting, you know what I mean, like obviously, um colored people don't like to be called monkeys. So that's just what it is. You know what I mean? And yeah, throughout the years, I've got my share of racist um depiction in that type of manner too, right? I brush it off of me. You know what I mean? Um, do I do I sound the racist alarm? Yeah, I mean when it was done to me, right? When it was said, someone called me a monkey or whatever, right? Of course, you know what I mean. Like it's hurtful, right? But sometimes people do it out of not knowing. You know what I mean? So, okay, I'm gonna tell you a story about when it was first done to me, or in that type of way, right? I'm older, you know what I mean, but like I'm naive to r- relating, you know, uh, uh, people to animals, you know what I mean, in that type of way, right? Um, and it might be Trump's first time getting hit with that what do you call it? So if we done it out of ignorance, I believe I mean like she get a free pass, right? Now when it was first done to me, it was done from my cousin, right? So I was dating a girl, you know what I mean? Obviously, the, it wasn't like the girl was not my race, right? So, in essence, my cousin did it to me. You know what I mean? I showed a picture of the girl and her I believe it was her family member or whatever, maybe like another girl, right? And then it was like me in the middle, right? And then my cousin put a monkey behind me and then put my head on top of the monkey and then the two girls on the side, right? Depicting me as that's how they view me, or that's how he viewed me, right? So the thing is, you know what I mean, like, so do I call my cousin a racist because my cousin did that to me and he did it knowingly, knowing what it meant, right? To me, I didn't start realizing what it meant until he started to come off explaining it to me and he was laughing, right? Or finding ways to joke about it, and then I was like, okay, I see where you're going with this, right? So to me, like, okay, well, like you have that type of hate, right, against what you see. Actually, he was hating on them because he was saying that that's how they view me, right? Which is kind of weird because why would they view me that way? And I was dating them. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like, how can I be dating someone? They saw me as an equal, right? When you're the one that don't that see something else. Does that make sense? So like this guy right here, he's trying to explain that we're the problem, that we see that we knowingly is doing it on purpose, when maybe Trump don't see it in that manner, right? And everyone on the left apparently see it in that manner. So who's the real racist one? You know what I mean? The virtuous one, right? The innocent one don't see that. They don't see colors. They don't see divide, right? They just see a picture of a monkey, right? And if it was depicted in any other context, then that's the context he's missing, right? He's over explaining what we ought to know, right? But we don't know. We don't notice it. Then we don't have that problem. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? Apparently they see it, right? Because the victim. They're the victim of racism. The people who don't see it, they don't see it. They saw the other bigger issue. The other bigger issue is the election was stolen in 2020, which what I mean. If you guys would have gave him the 2020 election, maybe you wouldn't have the issues that you have right now when you're so against the guy. You know what I mean? Maybe it would all been past you already because as a whole full term that you didn't have him for, right? It would have all been behind you. Maybe you would have had Kamala Harris right now. Maybe you would have had a Democratic Party running the show right now, right? But you didn't. You continued to, to pull out the racist card. That's the thing. When you pull out the racist card, you're essentially the oppressed one. Everyone else don't see the color lines. You know what I mean? You know, like, and he quoted Maya Angelou, right? When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Ain't no one show nothing. So Trump over here, he has all these colored people behind him, right? That's rooting him on, and we're all supposed to be the same as he is. Trust me. And plus, Trump deleted it already. So you know what I mean. Like, what do you gotta say? If he was really, about what he's about, he would just kept it on, right? Well, he's gonna show it and then like delete it real quick. I'm just gonna show you a little bit of who I am, not the full thing. Come on, guys. Stop capping yourself. Stop gaslighting yourself. Right? Stop being the victim, man. Anyway, that's all. Just find peace in your heart, man. You know what I mean? Like that's it. You know what I mean? Just find peace in your heart. Like I don't hate my cousin for it. You know what I mean? Like um, pretty much, he said what he said. I said what I said, right? And obviously we're gonna cross the same road again, right? But I'm hoping he would, come to his senses, that I don't view people that way, and he might have a reality check for himself, right? And then maybe you guys brought it up, and then Trump learned his lesson. You know what I mean? Give the guy some slack, man. Have a good one, y'all. Peace. Alright, guys, so I want to take 60 seconds to recognize my sponsor. Big shout out to shopcampsupply.com. Shopcampsupply.com has everything you need to embrace the outdoors. You don't need to go any further than staying on the home page, essential gears and equipment. Click the right arrow. Everything you need is right there for you to get active in going outdoors and enjoying your time in the wilderness and getting away from the cities. Again, that's Shop Camp Supply at www.shopcampsupply.com. Go check it out.